interactive sessions and we have an informative evenings. I invite, good evening to all the dignitaries, colleagues, and all the participants. And I feel privileged to extend my warm welcome to all the participants to the FDP titled Research, Advanced Research Methodology and Data Analysis. As I've already introduced myself as Dr. Razina from School of Economics and Commerce, CMR University, Bengaluru. I'll welcome all the participants once again to the FDP. Today we have among us the resource person Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay sir. Sir, I am privileged and delighted to take an opportunity to introduce our resource person, Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay sir. And when I get into more about sir has completed his PhD from Department of Management Studies, Mahatma Gandhi Kashi Vidyapith, and currently sir is working as professor and dean at School of Management at COER University. Sir is UGC net qualified, and sir has a good amount of experience in teaching as well as in research. Coming to the publication, sir has for his credit various publications in well-known journals in ABDC and Scopus. When I was going to the profile of the sir, I could understand that sir's publications are really good, and in ABDC, especially in B category, sir has 6 publications, and in C category, sir has 10 publications. And not only that, even in SCI, sir has 3 publications. In Scopus, you just can't imagine 38 papers sir has published, and in referral around 42. Totally, sir's research profile around 80 to 90 publications sir has done, and sir also has published around 7 to 8 patents in different indexes. And currently, sir has complete sir is guiding a lot of research students, research scholars. Three PhD scholars have completed a doctorate under sir's guidance, and more 3 are under the guidance. And this is in short what I have presented you. And also, when we sir has been resource person at different levels of workshops. Sir has been. Let me just to give you a brief idea about what all areas sir has covered. Sir is a resource person in 6 days workshop on research methodology and data analysis, which is organized by Technia Institute of Advanced Studies, Delhi. And sir also is a resource person in 2 days workshop that was organized by Ramanuja College, University of Delhi. And sir also has conducted workshops on research methodology and data analysis, and especially and hands-on SPSS. And likewise, if you see, sir has also worked. Sir also has been a resource person on workshops on research methods in Graphic Era University, and also on mediation and moderation analysis at IMS Ghaziabad. There are multiple. If the list is on and on, the list is on and on. Today we are in fact really privileged to have such a knowledgeable and such a good length resource person among us. I welcome you once again, sir. Once again, I welcome you, sir, to our FDP. Over to you, sir. Dr. Rajesh Kumar, sir. Yeah. Participant, sir, is joining. Sir, can you hear me, sir? Yeah.
Am I audible now, ma'am?
Yes, sir, you're audible, sir.
Thank you very much, ma'am, for such a detailed introduction. Now,
I have inside cut short it, sir. Your profile is quite rich.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Without wasting even a minute, let's start the session. As I have been asked to take the session on reliability, validity, mediation, and moderation analysis. So I would be beginning my session. Whenever any participants get any doubt related to whatever I say, anyone can stop me and get their query solved. Let's start the session. What is research is nothing but finding facts from the figure, as we all know. So today's session is about how to figure out the facts from the data, means data analysis. In data analysis tools, there are several tools which are used in the research. The tools which we are covering today is mediation and moderation analysis. So you might be knowing, for carrying out any research, we use certain measurement tool scales to measure the variable, particularly in the social science research and management researches. We would find that there are so many variables which cannot be directly measured. Variables means anything that has changing value. So in social science, most of the time we see that we do not have any standard scale like in physics or in other areas. For measuring distance, we have meter, kilometer, centimeter. For measuring weight, we have kg, gram, etc. But for measuring psychological variable like attitude, satisfaction, leadership, we need to develop a scale. So, and you might be knowing the very popular saying in management that anything that you cannot measure, you cannot improve. So, if we are learning the management or something which is related with the behavior of a person, we need to have a appropriate measurement tool to measure it. That then only we can improve it. Like there may be a research where one may be trying to assess the effect of leadership style on the performance of employee. In that case, we need to understand that we are supposed to measure the leadership style as well as the performance of employee. Then only we can proceed with the research whether the effect exists or not. First thing. Second thing, if the association exists, relationship exists, we are supposed to check the direction of relationship, whether it is positive or negative relationship, which is normally measured through correlation analysis. You might be knowing. Similarly, if we try to find out the relation degree of association between two variables, we use the coefficient of regression coefficient, which ranges from -1 to +1. If we try to assess the nature of relationship, means the strength of relationship, we use regression analysis. Hope these statistics are clear to everyone. Now, the very first question that we face is the question related to measurement scale used in the research, particularly in the research where latent variables are used. Latent variable means the variable which cannot be directly measured. Like attitude of a person cannot be directly measured. Like personality of a person cannot be directly measured. You might be knowing that person, there are several. One theory says that there are 5 different dimensions which constitute the personality of a person, like open to experience, conscientiousness, extraversion, neuroticism, agreeableness. So uh, we cannot judge a personality of a person or measure the personality of a person by seeing him. We are supposed to measure the personality indirectly. Similarly, the leadership style cannot be measured directly. So we use certain items, we make certain questionnaire through which the leadership style of a person can be measured. As we are creating a scale for measuring some attribute of a person, we are supposed to check 2 things. Hope I am audible to everyone.
You are audible, but please, participants, kindly keep your mics in mute mode.
Okay.
Rajesh sir, you can continue, sir.
Okay. As I said, we normally in the social science researches, we use latent variable which cannot be directly measured, and we don't have standard tool to measure them. So we create scale. When we create scale, it becomes our responsibility to check the reliability and validity of that scale. Now, what is reliability is nothing but we need to ensure that the scale that we have made for measuring certain attribute would be giving the consistent result, the same result in repeated measurement. Like I'm measuring the attitude of a person or satisfaction level of an employee, suppose X employee, and today I'm getting uh, the 30 out of 50. Tomorrow, if I'm measuring the satisfaction of same employee with the same tool, I need to get the consistent result. This is what we refer as reliability of scale. This is the one part of the scale that we need to ensure. Second, we need to ensure that the measure, the construct, the scale that we have made to measure the attribute is measuring the attribute for which it intended to measure. Like I'm measuring satisfaction uh, of a person, and the scale that I have made may be measuring the entrepreneurship of that person. It means my scale is not valid because it is not measuring what it intended to measure. So before proceeding with the research, we need to ensure that whatever the scale that we have made to measure the attribute is reliable and valid, giving consistent result, and it is measuring what intended to measure. Now, how to statistically check whether the scale that we are using in the research is reliable and valid? For reliability, we use the statistics Cronbach alpha. Cronbach alpha value indicates the reliability of scale, means consistency of the scale. The statistics says that if the Cronbach alpha value of the scale which we are using for measuring something is more than 0.6, our scale is reliable. This is what is referred in the literature. Now, how to check the validity of the scale? Let's try to understand. Suppose I am carrying out a research where I am trying to uh, check the effect of virtuous leadership on individual performance, where work engagement and subjective happiness are the mediating variable. What is mediating variable and what is moderating variable, we will try to understand later on. Currently, we are trying to understand the meaning of reliability and how the reliability is checked. Now, we have used 4 different scale in the research. Virtuous leadership, the one variable that we are measuring, we have a scale for it. Another variable is suppose work engagement, subjective happiness, individual performance. So we need to have 4 different scale to measure these 4 attributes. Now, how to measure it? How to check the reliability of each scale? What the statistics that we use to measure the reliability is, as I said, Cronbach alpha. And how to measure it? Let's try to understand that. This is the interface of SPSS. Hope it is visible to everyone. Madam, the screen of SPSS is visible,
Yes,
I
sir.
hope.
It's visible. It's
So
visible, sir.
how to check the reliability of this scale? Suppose I'm trying to check the reliability of subjective happiness. As you can see in the interface, that there are 4 different items which are used to measure the subjective happiness of an individual or respondent. For measuring the reliability, sorry, reliability of the scale Cronbach alpha, we need to go to the analysis, then scale. In scale, we go to reliability analysis, and keep in mind that reliability Cronbach alpha checks the reliability of individual scale, one scale at a time. Suppose we are measuring the, we are trying to assess the reliability of subjective happiness, which has 4 items. Now we take this item in the second box, and by clicking OK, we get a result. Now you can see the Cronbach alpha, there are total 453 participants, and Cronbach alpha for subjective happiness, which has 4 items, is 0.812, which is fair enough to indicate a reliability of the scale subjective happiness. So we can go ahead with the scale. Let me explain you once again. What we are supposed to do is we need to go to analysis. In analysis, we go to scale. In scale, we go to this reliability analysis. And suppose I'm trying to assess the reliability of work engagement scale, which has 9 items in it. So we'll put 9, select this 9 items and go for the result. Now you can see the result. The questionnaire has been administered to 453 participants, and the reliability or Cronbach alpha value for the scale, which has 9 items, is 0.922, which is good reliability, and we can proceed with the further analysis of the scale. The scale is reliable. Hope the reliability, the concept of reliability for a scale is clear to everyone, which is measured statistically using Cronbach alpha value. The value of Cronbach alpha should be greater than 0.6. If it is more than 0.6, we can go ahead with the questionnaire.
Sir, I have a question. Can I ask?
Please, please, please.
Okay. So, sir, the way you explained it looks like a little technical for me. I am not able to understand. If you could help understand the essence of the concept, and the processes anyway we can follow up later, but the essence, what we learn, what we intended to learn, if you could help again.
Okay. I think you have joined the session late. What
No,
I was
I'm
saying
there
that
from the
in
beginning,
any,
sir. I'm there
okay,
from the beginning. Still, I
in
found it
any
difficult to understand.
research, we used to see research, especially in social science, can be divided into 2 categories. Whether we can use univariate data in the research and try to check certain hypotheses, like suppose I wish to check whether the IQ level of male and female student in MBA class is same or different. So what will we do? We will use certain IQ test, which is readily available. We conduct the test, check the marks of the student, and use the test to see whether there exists a mean difference in both the group. Similarly, if group is more than 2, we conduct different types of tests. So in another case where we have 2 or more than 2 variable, and we try to check the relationship between or among the variable, again we go for different types of test, statistical test. But before we proceed with the research, we need to ensure that the scale which we are using to measure the attributes means the variable which we have considered in our research. Like there may be a research where one may be trying to assess the type of leadership, effect of type of leadership on performance of employee. In that case, we are supposed to measure the leadership style in the organization and the performance of employee in the organization. If we can measure these two variables, then only we can proceed with the checking the relationship or effect of one variable on another, or effect of independent variable on dependent variable. Hope this concept is clear to you. This much is clear to you.
Yes, sir.
Now, while
Sir,
measuring,
sir, are
yes.
we talking about the gauge R&R, what we call in the manufacturing industries? That is what we are talking about, right?
No, actually, in manufacturing industry, whatever we measure, we have standard scale for it. But in social science or in management, where the attribute of a person is measured, like satisfaction level of employee, leadership style of leader, or stress of a person, these are the variable which cannot be directly measured. We don't have any scale. Like for measuring distance, we use meter, kilometer. We don't have such scale for measuring attitude of a person, or behavior of a person, or personality of a person, or stress of a person, or satisfaction level of a person. Agree? Do we have scale?
No, sir. Yeah, you are correct, sir.
Okay. But as I said, anything that cannot be measured cannot be improved. So we need to have certain scale to measure it. If we really try to carry out a research in understanding the behavioral attribute of a person, which is very important. So we make this variable measurable. We make this variable measurable, like satisfaction of employee. We need to make it measurable. Don't you think?
Yes, sir.
Do we need to make it measurable? Okay. So similarly, suppose leadership style, we need to make it measurable. Now, how to make the leadership style measurable? So suppose I'm trying to assess whether the virtuous leadership style, there is a kind of style which is called virtuous leadership. I need to measure up to what magnitude virtuous leadership style is practiced in the organization. Now, how will I measure it? I don't have any scale for it. So I'm supposed to make it very measurable. Like personality is one parameter. You might be, I think you are not from management, so that's why you are not able to understand this concept. Let me make it very simple. Suppose I wish to assess personality of a person. Personality of a person is made up of 5 different dimensions, like openness of that person, open to experience of that person, or extraversion of that person, means the extent to which one is outspoken or reserved. Can I directly measure the extent to which someone is extrovert or introvert? The probable answer would be no. So extraversion or introversion is something which cannot be directly measured, and which cannot be directly measured is referred as latent variable. Latent variable. So extraversion of a person is a latent variable. Now, how to measure that? For measuring it, I will ask certain questions like, do you enjoy a party? Do you easily mingle with people? Rate yourself from 1 to 5, where 1 is strongly disagree and 5 is strongly agree. The respondent will say about his personality. I will ask the question whether you enjoy party or I enjoy party. There is a statement. How much you are agreeing with this statement? If I enjoy party, I will rate it 5. If I don't enjoy the party, I will rate 1. I strongly disagree with this statement. Like this, I will make a scale through which extraversion of a person can be measured. Right? Am I clear to it?
The scale is already available. If some standardized scale is already there, we can adapt it to our research.
Very good. Now there are two options to go ahead with the scale measuring the personality. One, I can create my own scale for it, which is very difficult, very difficult, because it takes huge efforts and time to create a scale. Now I can use a scale which is already been made by created by someone else, which you are referring standard scale, right? Right?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Now, either you can adopt that scale or adapt that scale. You can take the scale as it is, or you can modify the scale as per your requirement, because the original scale has been made somewhere else for different types of research. Agree? Agree?
Yes, sir.
Now, as you are adopting a standard scale for your own research, you are need to recheck whether the scale that you have adopted is reliable and valid. You are supposed to recheck the reliability and validity of that scale in the context in which you are carrying out research. Hope I'm clear and answered your query.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay.
Sir,
Now,
sir, I
as
have
you
a
have,
question. Sir,
sir,
excuse me, can I ask a question?
yes, of course.
Sir, if the scale is adopted, we are rechecking the reliability and validity. And if the scale is adapted, then also we need to check the reliability, no?
Definitely, because the original scale has been made for other research at other place. See, if 3 things changes in the research, we need to reestablish the fact: time, place, and situation. Kal, sthan, paristhiti. If any of these variable changes, we are supposed to reestablish the fact. For example, spirituality at my place may be different from the work spirituality at US or work spirituality at UK. Agree or not?
Yes, sir.
Hence, if I'm using some scale which is measuring the work spirituality of a person in Indian context and borrowing the scale which has been made in UK or US, don't you think we need to recheck the reliability and validity of that scale in our context? Agree?
Yes.
That's why we are supposed to recheck the reliability and validity, which I am discussing. Now, how to check the reliability of a scale means whether the scale is giving the consistent result in my case or not. The statistics which are used is Cronbach alpha. The Cronbach alpha value should be more than 0.6. Then only we perceive that the scale is reliable enough even in my case. Hope I'm clear with the Cronbach reliability test of a scale.
Sir, if the Cronbach alpha is less than 5, then what do we need to do?
We need to recheck the scale and modify it. If you go in the detail, Cronbach alpha actually depends on the spread variance of the data. So that part actually we don't cover, because we are supposed to switch on the bulb without considering whether what kind of filament is used in that, or what kind of gas is there in the bulb, because we are using these statistics. That's all. We are not creating these statistics. So again, let's come back to the Cronbach alpha. If the spread of data, variance of data is not fair enough, we need to recheck the uh, scale which we are using for our research.
Sir, I
Is
have
it
a
clear to
small.
everyone? If I start
Please,
solving the query at
please
Cronbach
ask
alpha,
your
will
query
lose
after
other
the
aspect.
lecture.
Will lose other aspect. Let me tell you how do we use this Cronbach alpha value in our research. Suppose this is the research, one of the research paper where we are trying to assess, or let's take another research paper. This is one of the paper that has been published in B listed journal of Emerald. In this
Sir,
case, you might be seeing, see, there is one of the construct used in the research is transformational leadership, which has been measured using 7 scale. As I said, we need to report the reliability of the scale. In the research paper, you might be seeing that it has been indicated that the Cronbach alpha value for the transformational leadership, which uses 7 items for measuring it, has the reliability of Cronbach alpha value is 0.974, which is more than 0.6. So it is fair enough to go ahead with the research. Am I clear to everyone? Do you understand the concept of Cronbach alpha? How to calculate it and why it is essential in research? These 2 queries are solved, or do you have doubt in these 2 queries?
Yeah.
Sir, actually, these values may vary from place to place, because the same value we may not get in one state, and those values may differ in another state if we are applying the same tool for certain particular group.
That's why reliability becomes mandatory for any research to carry out.
Sir, what about
This is
conventional
what I am
psychology?
discussing. If the scale which you are using has the Cronbach alpha value less than 6, it means the measure that you are using is not actually reliable. You need to improve it. That part we are actually not covering, how to improve the Cronbach alpha value. That will take a whole session. Today we are discussing how to check the reliability of a scale. I said the reliability of a scale can be checked using statistics called Cronbach alpha. How to calculate Cronbach alpha I shown you in SPSS. Now the second thing is, what is threshold value for Cronbach alpha? I said widely accepted value is zero point 0.6. If anything which comes more than 0.6 will be accepted as a reliable scale, and we can proceed with the research. Hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Sir, can you give the formulation of Cronbach alpha? I mean, how it is coming, the formula?
Formula, that why what I explained you. We are
you
not into statistics. We have software through which the Cronbach alpha can be calculated, because we are not concerned with the calculation that has been done by statistician, not the management or social science scholars or researchers.
Okay, sir, got it.
Right?
Okay, sir, got it, sir. Thank you, sir.
Got the point? Because that will require different session. and if you really wish to have the formula of Cronbach alpha, you can easily get it. But that is not our concern, being a management or social science scholar. Now let's come to the second part. How to check whether the scale which I am using is actually measuring what it intended to measure. Like I have certain scale which is intended to measure a personality of a person. How to ensure that it is actually measuring the personality and nothing else? Question is clear? What do we check in validity is clear to everyone? Hope?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Now how to check it statistically? The validity of concept is checked through confirmatory factor analysis. There is a statistical procedure which is commonly referred as CFA, confirmatory factor analysis. In confirmatory factor analysis, we check the 4 different parameters, statistics. Like, as I said, I'm trying to measure the personality of a person which has 5 different dimensions. One of the dimension is extroversion of that person. Now, how to measure the extroversion of person? As it is a kind of latent variable, I created 4 questions to measure it, or 3 questions to measure it. Now I need to ensure that every item that I have formulated for measuring extroversion of a person is high significantly correlated with the extraversion. Like if I'm asking a question, do you easily mingle with people? Rate yourself from 1 to 5, where 1 is very difficult and 5 is very easy. So the respondent will respond to this question, and I will get several responses. Now I need to check whether this item significantly regress to the extraversion of person, the dimension which I am measuring. Regression coefficient should be significant. Second thing that I need to check is construct validity. In CFA, we use 4 statistics. As I said, we check the regression coefficient. As I said, personality may be measured using 3 questions. This regression weight of each item should be significantly regressed on personality dimension which I am taking, for example, extraversion. Now, the second condition is checking the validity of the scale, which is our part in today's session. There can be 2 major validity which we need to check. The content validity. Content validity means the question which I am framing to measure the extraversion of a person is correct. Now how to do it? How to check the content validity? There are several methods. Most popular method is literature review. Through literature review, as someone said, that we can use standard questionnaire for measuring it. In standard questionnaire, we already have the items, measurement item. So content validity is proved, or we can ask the expert whether the question you are framing to measure certain attribute is correct or not. The expert will tell you, which is called face validity. So content validity is one of the way to check the validity of a questionnaire. The second part, which is statistical in nature and essential to be included in your research, is the construct validity. The construct that you have made to measure certain attribute is valid. For measuring the construct validity, there are two statistics we use to check: the convergent validity and discriminant validity. As I said, that personality have 5 different dimensions. Each dimension is used using certain question, which is referred as items. Now we need to ensure that the item which are intended to measure the X attribute is measuring converging to X attribute only. Means it has to have high correlation with the attribute we are measuring. This 3 item should be highly correlated with the X attribute that we are measuring, is referred as convergent validity. What is discriminant validity is that the each dimension that I am measuring is different from one another. Like if I am measuring the personality of person, which includes 5 dimensions, the openness to the new experience, extraversion, agreeableness, neuroticism, etc. This dimension of a personality, these dimensions of a personality is different from one another. They are distinguished. So, which is referred as discriminant validity. Hope convergent and discriminant validity is clear. The concept is clear to everyone. Yes?
Sir,
Can we
convergent,
go ahead?
could you convergent once again? Tell me.
Okay. Let me explain it with example. Hope this SPSS sheet is visible to everyone. Is it visible? The SPSS sheet?
Yes, sir. It is visible, sir.
Now you can see for measuring work engagement, WE, I have represented. The researcher have used 9 item to measure WE. What is convergent validity is to check whether this 9 item is highly correlated with the work engagement or not. The items may be correlated to subjective happiness, may be related, will have some amount of correlation with the humanities also, or other variables also, but it should have highest correlation with work engagement only. This is what we refer as convergent validity. Now see this. This is 9 item of the scale. One, actually this is work engagement. Work engagement is measured using this 9 item. Now it is essential to check that whether this 9 item is highly correlated with work engagement only or not, because it will have certain amount of correlation with even leadership or subjective happiness or other variable. Performance of employee, it will have, but it should be highly correlated with the work engagement skill. In simple word, this should be convergent to work engagement only, this 9 item. This is referred as convergent validity. What is discriminant validity? Discriminant validity simply means this 1, 2, 3, 4 scale which I am using in my research are distinguished from each other. They are different variable and not one. If suppose this variable holds high correlation, very high correlation among themselves, it means that they are one and the same. They are not different. They are different. How to prove statistically is referred as discriminant analysis. To prove this 4 scales are different from one another. Hope now I'm clear to everyone. Concept wise.
Yes.
What is convergent validity? What is discriminant validity? The third thing that you need to check in CFA is model fit. Model fit statistics. Now, what is model fit statistics? See, based on the literature review, we constitute certain hypotheses. Like in this case, hope this word is visible to everyone. Word document. Proposed hypothesized model. Is it visible to everyone?
Yes, sir.
So in this scale, we have used 4 different variables. Now the relationship between this variable has been detected using the literature review, because in some cases it has been found that virtuous leadership is related to individual performance in the organization. There may be some research paper. So based on the literature review, I am hypothesizing, expecting in my research that virtuous leadership will influence the individual performance in my subject area also, the subject area where I am carrying out research. Hope this concept, basic concept, is clear to everyone. This model, the hypothesized model, is basically based on the literature review. Agree? Agree?
Yeah. Yes, sir.
Now, we are supposed to see whether this hypothesized model, which are based on literature review, actually matches with the data that we have gathered. The extent to which data supports the proposed hypothesis is referred as model fit. Am I clear with the concept of model fit? Two things are there. The hypothesized model for a research, which we have made based on the literature review, or we have conceptualized one part. Second part, what data says. When we collect the data and measure this item, if we try to check the relationship, the same model, whether the data supports that model or not, is referred as model fit. Am I clear to everyone with the concept of model fit?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Now, these are the things which you need to check before testing your hypothesis. These are the mandatory things, you cannot omit it. You cannot proceed with the checking the hypothesis of your research without checking the reliability and validity of your scale. Now, how to check reliability of individual scale? I said, I explained you using Cronbach alpha. But when you are checking the reliability of a scale, when it has multiple variable, the reliability becomes composite reliability. Am I clear to distinguish the Cronbach alpha from composite reliability? Cronbach
So please
alpha
repeat.
Cronbach alpha measures the reliability of individual scale isolatedly. When we check the reliability of that scale, when it is associated with the other variable of the model, then the reliability becomes composite reliability. Composite word represents the same. Then that the reliability is tested along with the other variable under consideration, not isolatedly. When we are measuring the reliability isolatedly of particular scale, we measure it through Cronbach alpha. When we measure the reliability of scale along with the other variables used in the scale is referred as composite reliability. Is it clear to everyone? How composite reliability is different from Cronbach alpha?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now the second statistics which we use is average variance extracted, AVE. What is that? See, this work engagement got measured using 9 scale. All this item actually explain the variance. If you are very comfortable with the stat, then only you will understand what I am saying. If you are not, don't worry. We don't need such detail in writing research or writing thesis. See, the extent to which this first item explain the variation in the construct will be variance. You might be understanding the spread variation, like there may be a product, the sales revenue of that product may be depending on the price of that product, but you think that price is the only factor that actually reflects the sales revenue of that item? Price is the only attribute of that product that will determine the sales revenue?
No.
No, there may be but of course price would be one of the variables that would be influencing the sales revenue. Agree? Price may not be the only variable that influences the sales revenue of the product, but definitely there would be certain variation in the sales that get determined by the price of the product, which is referred as variance in the sales because of the price of the product. Now you got the meaning of variance? Got the meaning in simple words?
So can you please repeat?
See, there may be suppose there is a mobile. Let's take the example of iPhone 15, which has been launched recently. Don't you think it is the price that influences the demand of the iPhone? Agree or not?
Other factors are there.
Conceptually, it is the price. But do you think that price is the only factor which influences the sale of iPhone 15? There may be other reason. Like quality of the product or salesman's ability, brand image of the company, and hundred of factors would be there which influences sales revenue of a product. Agree? Am I clear to everyone?
Yes.
Now, what is the influence of price in that? How much variation in the sales revenue caused by price is the variance because of price. Variation in the sales because of price. There may be 30% variation, 40% variation. Am I clear? Because of the price of a product.
Yes, sir.
Or even 50% of the variation in the product sales revenue may be caused by the price. This variation is actually variance we referred in stats, right? So we need, see, WE1, the one item, the variance in first item because of the work engagement. If you are not understanding statistics, don't worry at all. I would explain the thing, simple thing which you need to report in your research, because these are the things which are done by the softwares. You are not supposed to worry about it, right? So this variation, the average variation caused by this 9 item is referred as AVE, average variance extracted. This one. Similarly, this 4 variable also could be related to one another. What is the common variance shared by this one first variable, work engagement, with other 2 variable? It would be causing some variation in 2, some variation in 3, some variation in 4. But what is the common variance caused by one would be the average variance. Now, what would be the maximum variance? Out of this 3 variance, what is the maximum variation in this 3 variable caused by number 1? This would be the maximum shared variance. If statistically it is okay, then okay. Otherwise, you are not supposed to statistically understand that this, because these are the things which are done by the software. I just wanted to make you understand the basic concept of this composite reliability, average variance, and maximum shared variance. Now, how to calculate it? Let's go to that part. I'm expecting that you will learn how to run the AMOS. This is the AMOS software which I am using to assess these variables. So I'm not going in that part.
Excuse me, sir. Is it required that for doing this research, MOS is a must, or with SPSS alone we can do it?
See, there is a problem with the SPSS. Though SPSS is a comprehensive software, but there is a problem. While assessing the relationship like A influences B, B influences C, that kind of relationship cannot be tested using SPSS. Am I clear?
Yes, sir. Yes. And there is something also that smart PLS and all that is also required.
Yes, yes, yes. For assessing the validity, for carrying out composite reliability, confirmatory factor analysis, this test, which is conducted basically for checking the validity of a scale, cannot be done without the appropriate software. The available software are so many. The widely used softwares are AMOS and Smart PLS. AMOS has certain limitations which got covered in Smart PLS. Right?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
So for carrying out CFA, you need to have one or another software. So do I need to run the test? You want? Or should I
Yes,
stick
sir.
with the statistic only, because the time is running out. I need to cover two more analysis.
Sir, one thing, just how far it is different to multivariate analysis?
It is a kind of multivariate analysis. The analysis where there is more than two variables is referred as multivariate analysis. So it is a part of multivariate analysis. Am I clear?
Yes, yes, sir. Okay, sir.
So the for convergent validity, we need to have three different statistics. First, let me close it. For checking the convergent validity, now you would be having in back of your mind what is convergent validity. These three conditions should be fulfilled. What is that? The first one is that the composite reliability of a scale should be greater than 0.7. The average variance extracted AVE should be more than 0.5, and AVE should be greater than CR. These are the three conditions. If it gets satisfied, it means the convergent validity of the scales that you have taken is true. Am I clear to everyone? How to statistically check the convergent validity? This statistics will be calculated by the softwares. This software will calculate these values. Now, how do we report it in research paper? See, now you might be observing that for transformational leadership scale, the AVE value is 0.84, which is more than 0.5. Agree? The second condition is satisfied. AVE should be greater than 0.5. Then first condition is CR should be greater than 0.7. This is CR. This is the CR value, composite reliability value for transformational leadership, which is 0.97, which is greater than 0.7. So the first condition is valid. The third condition is that AV should be greater than CR. Let's check. Now see, the CR value is 0.9, AV value is 0.8. So AV is less than CR. The third condition is approved. Hence, the convergent validity of transformational leadership is okay in the research. Am I clear to everyone? How to check the convergent validity? Because these are the statistics you are supposed to report in the research paper or the thesis you are writing. Am I clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Now, how to check whether these four scales, four variables which has been used in the research paper are actually different from one another? Means discriminant validity. How do we check the discriminant validity? If the maximum shared variance is less than average variance extracted, then we say that the discriminant validity is proved. Now check. The MSV of TL is 0.5, which is less than AVE, which is 0.84. Similarly, for employee innovative behavior, the MSV is 0.5, and AV is 0.7. Again, AV is greater than. Similarly, for all the other scales, is AV is greater than MSV, which approved the discriminant validity of the scale used in the analysis. Hope this part is clear to everyone.
Sir, kindly repeat about maximum shared variance concept.
Okay. This is the 4 construct that I have used in the research. Suppose this work engagement will share certain variance with virtuous leadership, the performance of employee, and subjective happiness. These 3 lines. This line, this line, this line. Right? If you are comfortable with the statistics, you might be knowing the meaning of two-sided arrow. In simple word, it is not right, just to make you understand. The correlation which work engagement will have with virtuous leadership, the correlation of work engagement with performance of employee, the correlation of work engagement with the subjective happiness. It will have certain correlation value, right? Will it have?
Yes, sir.
Now, what is the maximum correlation value? Suppose this work engagement will have the highest correlation value with subjective happiness, which is suppose 0.4. Now, what is the average variance extracted value of AV with these items? Suppose if it is 0.7, then VE is different from subjective happiness, as the maximum shared variance with the subjective happiness, that WE means work engagement share, is 0.4, whereas average variance extracted is 0.7. Hence, these two variables are distinct variables. So maximum shared variance you got. Suppose WL is one of the variable which will have correlation with other 2 variable in the construct. Now, suppose the virtuous leadership will have highest correlation with the performance of employee, which is 0.7. So the MSB for VL would be 0.7, because the maximum shared variance among this between these 3 variable, this 0.5 of 0.7, whatever it has with performance of employee is highest, maximum. Now got the concept of maximum shared variance, or should
Yes, sir.
I
Yes, sir.
explain it again?
No, sir, I got it. Thank you.
Okay. Now we are through with the yes, one of the criteria is to check whether the maximum shared variance is less than AVE or not. If it is less than AVE, we are through with the discriminant validity. Discriminant validity of my scale is proved. The another way out is to check whether the square root of AVE is greater than the correlation which are formed with the other variable in the construct. Like AV will have certain correlation with other 3 variable. The correlation value that this AV will have with another 3 variable should be less than the square root of AV. Am I clear? Let me show you. The square root value of transformational leadership in this research paper is 0.92. Now the transformational leadership will have correlation with OC and WM also. The correlation value of TL with OC is 0.23 and TL with WM is 0.4. Now you can see that the square root of AV, this is the square root value of T, is greater than the correlation of TE with other two variable. Is it clear to everyone? Is it visible and clear?
Yes, sir.
So what is the condition I was discussing? That the square root of the construct, square root of AV of the construct, like in this case TL, is 0.923, which is greater than the correlation of TL with other two variable. It means the discriminant validity of TL is proved as per Fernell and Larker. So this is the second criteria to prove discriminant validity. And how to report it? This is the way. This is the way to report it.
Sir, in this case, both the things are to be reported.
You can report either of this. For discriminant analysis, I think you are asking.
Yes, sir.
Either of the thing can be reported. Okay. But as see in the paper, I have reported both of the things. I said the convergent and discriminability of constructs are evaluated by examining the vector loading, average variance, as I discussed with you. Now somewhere I would have written that the CR value as shown in the table, CR value, MSB is less than AVE of each construct, hence the discriminant validity is proved. Along with this, I have also shown it with the criteria mentioned by Fernell and Larker to prove the discriminant validity. So both I have reported in my paper. You can report either of this two. Will do, no problem at all. Am I clear? Is it clear to everyone?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Once we are through with the reliability and validity of scale, it means whatever the scale we are using to measure the variable in the research is perfectly fine to go ahead with testing the hypothesis. Now, what would be the proper hypothesis in multivariate analysis is nothing but checking the association, relationship, effect, influence of independent variable on dependent variable. This is what do we check, right? Like suppose I'm trying to check the effect of virtuous leadership on performance of employee, a kind of leadership style which will have effect on the performance of employee in the organization, right? This is what would I check in the research. Agree? What is research is all about is to check whether the relationship exists or not in multivariate analysis case, whether the relationship exists or not, the direction of relationship, degree of relationship, and nature of relationship. But nowadays, it is not enough to check whether relationship exists or not. We are also need to check with if the relationship exists, then how the relationship exists and when the relationship exists. Am I clear? Are you getting what I'm trying to explain? It is not enough nowadays to check whether the relationship between independent and dependent variable exists or not, whether the leadership influences the performance of employee or not. we are also supposed to check how the leadership influences the performance of employee, the how condition, and when the leadership will have the influence on performance of employee. Am I clear to my question?
Sir, is there
Yes,
any
sir.
reason as to why that how and when is required now?
Yes, it is the reason. This is the reason. Like, suppose there is a person who got affected by blood sugar. So blood sugar will have impact on frequency of his urination. Agree? Agree?
Yes, sir.
But do you think blood sugar influences urination? If you say yes, then I would ask you how. Then you will say that such blood sugar influences kidney functioning of the person. Because of the function of the kidney, the frequency of urination get affected. Don't you think?
Sir, can this be shown by the statistics? This how and
Yes,
when?
yes, yes, yes.
Okay.
This is the topic actually I had to discuss with you. Suppose I say that this is really something which is very interesting that you need to understand. Exercise influences weight loss. Agree? Agree?
Yes, sir.
The
Yes.
Yes, sir.
amount of exercise will influence the weight loss of a person. But you need to check two more things in this relationship. You might have observed that someone may be carrying out exercise but not losing the weight. Why? Because exercise actually burns the calories, and because of the burning of the calorie, weight of a person reduces. Agree? Agree?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So how exercise reduces weight of a person? Because exercise burns calorie, and because of this burning calorie, weight reduces. This is how exercise influences weight loss. So this is answering how. Agree?
Yes, sir.
And don't you think it is essential to understand how independent variable influencing dependent variable is important to explore, important to understand, investigate? How certain style of leadership influences the performance of employee must be understood, because if enough calorie is not burned, the weight will not reduce. Agree?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Point is clear.
So this how part of the research, how part of this relationship is basically explaining the mechanism with which independent variable influencing dependent variable, which is referred as mediating variable. So calorie burn will be the mediating variable. The blood sugar level will influence the frequency of urination. How? Because it will influence kidney functioning, and because of kidney functioning, the urination frequency will increase. But if someone will have fine kidney functioning, if there would not be any damage to the kidney that has been caused by blood sugar, then in that case, the blood sugar may not be resulting into the increase in frequency of urination, right? So we need to understand the mechanism with which independent variable influences dependent variable, which is referred as mediating variable. Now, along with that, take the first case, this case. Don't you think it is the meal of a person that will determine the amount of effect that exercise will have on weight loss? Don't you think?
Yes, sir.
So actually meal will determine the magnitude of effect of exercise on weight loss. When part, which is determining the boundary condition, means minimum maximum effect of exercise on weight loss or independent variable on dependent variable. The magnitude with which independent variable this will influence this. The boundary, minimum maximum range, is referred as moderating variable. Hope I am clear with the mediating and moderating variable, the meaning of mediation and moderation effect.
Yes.
Now tell me.
Sir, just one distinct query. In this IV and DV, there are two things that are influencing in this example. So can we also state, yes, exercise and meal, I think this thing. So can we determine the strength which is influencing more?
That is not the part of our research, because as I said, the main study is to find out the effect of exercise on weight loss. Now, how exercise influences weight loss, that may be because exercise burns calorie, and because of the burned calorie, the person may be losing the weight, right? Yes, what the question you are asking is also true. We can take all these three variables as independent variable: the calorie burn, exercise, and meal. We can take, but the type of research will become different. What we are studying is how exercise is influencing weight, the mechanism, how the blood sugar influences frequency of urination, means the mechanism is mediating variable, and what would be the strength of effect of blood sugar on frequency of urination, is moderating variable, the boundary condition. These two concepts we would try to understand today.
Yes, sir.
The mediation and moderation. Now let's start with the mediation analysis. Meaning and concept is clear to everyone. Hope. Three things we will try to understand: the meaning, the graphical representation, and statistical method to calculate mediation effect. Now let's begin. Mediating variable, as I said, it explains the mechanism with which independent variable influences dependent variable. How graphically it is shown? It is shown like this. In our case, dependent variable may be virtuous leadership. Dependent variable may be individual performance. How virtuous leadership influences individual performance is nothing but virtuous, because of the virtuous leadership style of a leader, the employee's work engagement may be influenced. Because of the engagement of employee, his performance may influence. Means higher level of virtuous leadership will increase the work engagement of employee, and work engagement of employee ultimately will increase the performance of employee. If the virtuous leadership score of a leader is low, it will lead to lower work engagement of employee, and this lower work engagement of employee will decrease the performance of employee. So this is how the mediating variable is graphically represented. Hope it is clear. Graphical representation of mediation is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Actually, I'm frequently asking this question because I need to understand whether I'm really online or not, because it has happened sometime that I keep on speaking and later on I come to know that I was offline. So don't take
no,
it.
sir, it's clear, sir. Audio is clear and the presentation also is clear.
So suppose this is the paper where the proposed model is graphically represented. So whatever the research topic you have taken, if you are taking any mediating variable, you need to represent it like this. In this case, you can see we have used two mediating variable, work engagement and subjective happiness. So this is how graphically mediating variable is represented in the thesis or research paper. Am I clear?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Or the paper that has been published in Emerald, you may see how the graphical representation of the concept has been made.
Sir, all these things what you're saying, in the thesis it should be more in-depth, and in the paper it should be just a brief this thing. Is it like that, or both it has to be in-depth only?
Actually, in the paper, we normally write the crux of the research, just the outcome of the research. While writing thesis, you need to go in depth and tell everything, that why you are carrying out mediation effect and how would be carrying out mediation effect, what the statistics you will consider for mediating effect, what the tool you would be using for calculating the mediating effect. That all need to be mentioned in thesis. But while writing paper, in one line you need to tell the reader that these are the statistics that has been used for analysis of mediating effect using XYZ software. That's all. That would be more than enough.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
So in the paper, hence,
but
therefore the length of the paper is.
So one thing, the scope is limited to latent variables only. This scope.
Actually, this workshop is basically intended to this social and management research. This mediation and moderation model actually got conceived for the science. Like, if you understand, hope you are from manufacturing. Hope I'm trying to understand the model of a seed through which we can observe the sunlight. Observe the energy which is yes.
This moderate and mediation effect is possible through PLS-SAM, right?
Of course, it is possible. PLS-SAM is the software.
Yes, sir. Is there any way to get access of the software?
I had to explain today that you can use even SPSS to assess mediation and moderation effect. That but I had intended to explain you today.
If variables are categorical, then we have to use PLS-SAM in place of SPSS or AMOS in categorical moderation effect.
Yes, very true. In general, we use the softwares like MOS or PLS in calculating mediation and moderation. In case of categorical moderation, normally we use MOs or SPSS. But
Sir, most
at the
works on
same
scale
time,
to ratio data, na? It wouldn't work on categorical moderation data.
yes, it works. I had to explain that today. But as the time is going on, I don't hope that I would be able to explain you up to that extent today. I had to explain how we can use SPSS for determining the mediation and moderation effect, even the moderation of categorical variable.
In
In fact,
SPSS.
in SPSS, I had to explain, and I will try to cover it. We are left with half an hour. If you are not getting bored through this session, then we will continue. Otherwise, we'll take it on some other day. Okay, now let's start. This is the graphical representation of mediation. Now, how to constitute the mediation in hypothesis? For that, we need to understand the basic concept of mediation. Baron Kenny is the first person which has contributed in identifying and indicating mediation, the role of mediator in psychology or social science. Otherwise, up to 1920, it has been used in the pure science subject only, the concept of mediation and moderation. Baron,
sir, you can just enlarge the screen a little bit.
Baron and Kenny was the first person. Now, when we can say that some variable is actually mediating variable between dependent variable and independent variable, that we need to understand. Earlier, it has been said that if the effect association between independent variable, hope this PPT is visible to everyone.
Yes, sir. Yes.
Yes, sir.
I'm not getting the. Okay. Now, to say that M is the mediating variable between independent variable and dependent variable, we need to ensure certain assumption. The earlier assumption used to say that if independent variable will have significant relationship between dependent variable, the first condition. Second condition, the independent variable should have significant impact on mediating variable. And third one is that mediating variable should have significant impact on dependent variable. Then only we can assume that M is the mediating variable between X and Y, or between independent variable and dependent variable. Am I clear to everyone? All these three relations should be significant. If any of this condition falls short, we do not assume M as a mediating variable between independent and dependent variable. Hope this statement is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
All A, B, and C should be significant for taking M as a mediating variable between independent and dependent variable. This is the very basic concept introduced by Baron and Kenny. Now, Baron and Kenny also said that if this C is insignificant in absence of this mediating variable, but as and when we take the mediating variable into consideration, though A and B is not significant, but C becomes significant. In presence of M, suppose the effect of IV on DB becomes C dash from C, and if this C dash is significant, then Barron and Kenny used to say that independent variable has indirect effect. Indirect, I'm using the word indirect effect of on dependent variable if mediating variable is present or through mediating variable. But later on, this concept had been denied, and in the latest concept.
अरे भाई ना तो तुम मेरे को याद नहीं रहते, मेरे पास आजकल बहुत काम रहता है.
Kranti Kapoor ma'am, can you kindly keep your mic mute? Yes, sir. Please continue, sir.
Shall I proceed?
Yes, sir.
Barron-Kenny ka concept, I think, clear to everyone, but we are not concerned with Barron-Kenny. I just tell you the concept of Barron and Kenny because still in some of the inferior quality of paper, the researcher still using the same hypothesis to prove that some variable are mediating variable. But now the latest statistics, latest assumption which are given by Professor Hare, says that if the multiplication of A and B, actually mediation statistically is nothing but the product of A and B, this effect and this effect. If this is significant, we say that M acts as a mediator between independent variable and dependent variable. This is the basic concept. Now, how to do it in your research? How to check whether the mediation exists or not? To understand that, you need to understand this three types of mediation that may exist. In fact, four types of mediation that may exist in your research. If in presence of this mediating variable, the moment this mediating variable comes in picture, the effect of independent variable on dependent variable will reduce from C to C dash. This statement is clear to everyone, that in present of mediator, the effect of independent variable on dependent variable reduces. If this reduced effect is still significant in presence of mediating variable, we say that mediation is partial in nature. So partial mediation. Got the point? When do we say that mediation is partial in nature or there is partial mediation? When in the presence of this mediating variable, the relationship or the effect of independent variable on dependent variable is still significant, then mediation is partial in nature. It means this independent will have direct impact and through this mediating variable also. Yahan se, from this will have indirect effect as well as direct effect. In that case, we say that mediating effect is partial in nature. But if in the presence of mediating variable, the direct effect, which is reducing from C to C dash, become insignificant. If the direct effect become insignificant, then all the effect of independent variable on dependent variable will pass through this mediating variable only. If such case exists, we say that there is a full mediation. Now got the point? When do we say full mediation and when do we say partial mediation? Is it clear to everyone? These two concepts, full mediation and partial mediation.
Yes, sir.
Right. Now this has become invalid, and if this A into B means mediation effect is insignificant, then we say that there is no mediation in the relationship of independent and dependent variable. So we have three outcome, three inference to draw related to type of mediation. The mediation may be full mediation, where direct influence would be insignificant. All the impact, all the influence will pass through mediating variable, full mediation. In second condition, when in presence of mediator, still the influence of independent variable, direct influence of independent variable on dependent variable is significant, we will say that mediation is partial in nature. When the mediation is insignificant, though this direct effect is significant, we say that there is no mediation. Hope it is clear to everyone.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now, how to represent it? How to describe it or write it, report it in the research paper? Let's take the example. See, this is how it has been reported. The virtuous leadership influences subjective happiness, and ultimately subjective happiness influences the individual performance. This is the fifth hypothesis, where we have taken subjective happiness as a mediator between virtuous leadership and performance, individual performance. Now we need to check the direct effect and indirect effect of virtuous leadership on individual performance. The direct effect is, as you can see, is insignificant, because the star says the significance level. This effect is insignificant, means direct effect of virtuous leadership on individual performance is insignificant, but indirect effect is significant. Indirect effect, this one, is significant. Hence, we can say that the effect is fully mediated. This is how we report. Now, see the hypothesis fourth one, where we have assumed that virtuous leadership and virtuous leadership and individual behavior, individual performance get mediated by work engagement. In this case also, you can find the direct effect is insignificant, and direct effect is insignificant, indirect effect is significant. Hence, we concluded that yes, hypothesis is accepted. And what kind of mediation do we have? We have full mediation. Suppose there would have been a case where this effect is also significant, means the direct effect is significant as well as indirect effect is significant. We would have concluded that yes, hypothesis is accepted and the mediation is partial in nature, partial mediation. Am I clear to everyone? Now, how to be reported? In running text, we report it like this. We always report the beta value, the regression effect, the t value, and significance level. This is how we report in the research paper. If it is clear to everyone, let's go to the moderation effect. As I said, moderation, the meaning we have gone through. there can be two types of moderation, categorical and continuous. Suppose I have taken a study where I am trying to assess the effect of counseling on stress level of employee. The effect of counseling. Hope I'm audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Suppose I'm trying to understand the effect of counseling on stress level of employee. It may be the case that the effect of counseling on stress level may be determined by the gender of employee. It may be the case, hypothetically, that a female employee may be more conscious towards the counseling, hence the effect of counseling on their stress level will be high. Male may not be very serious about the counseling, hence the effect of counseling in the case of male on their stress level would be low. In that case, mediating variable is categorical in nature, as I have taken gender category. It may be a continuous variable. Suppose the counseling may, or take the another example, the leadership style may influence individual performance, but for influencing individual performance, leaders need to communicate with the employees, and IT is one of the tools through which communication between leaders and followers can be facilitated. Now, use of IT by the leader would be the continuous variable. So in that case, our moderating variable would be continuous in nature. I'm not telling you the difference between categorical and continuous variable because I assume that you understand it. In the scale, nominal scale is actually categorical in nature. Even ordinal scale considered as categorical in nature. These two scales are actually continuous in nature. I'm not explaining that because we are falling short of the time. So the mediation can be categorical or continuous. Now, how to represent it? This is the graphical representation of mediation. Moderation. In mediation, we used to represent like this, but moderating variable is represented like this graphical representation of moderating variable. Now, statistically, it is done like this. We check the effect of independent variable on dependent variable. We check the effect of moderating variable on dependent variable. Along with this red line actually representing the effect of moderation. You might be seeing this sign. It is the sign of multiplication, where I'm multiplying the independent variable with moderating variable and creating one new variable. Therefore, moderation is also referred as interaction effect. If the moderator is categorical in nature, we refer as moderating variable. But if the moderating variable is continuous in nature, we may use interaction effect instead of moderation effect. The question which Madam was asking earlier. This is the method through which we can check the moderating effect if the moderator is categorical in nature. This is the process. As we are falling short of the time, I would not be able to explain these things practically, but definitely I will be sharing this PPT through which you can get the concept easily, calculation easily. This is the process through which we can actually assess the moderating variable, which is continuous in nature, using SPSS. There is a plugin in SPSS which is referred as Hayes process. This Hayes process actually helps in determining the mediation and moderation effect. How it appears in the SPSS, that I can show you, because we are falling short of the time. There is separate plugin that you need to install in your SPSS. As you can see, when I go in regression analysis, I get this process, a plugin designed by Professor Andrew Hayes. This actually add-on in the SPSS helps you in calculating mediation and moderation effect in your data. This is the PDF that has been shared by the professor, means Professor Hayes. You need to see the kind of model you have proposed in your study. While carrying out the test, you need to mention which model is applicable in your case. Like in this case, model 1 is the model where there would be one independent variable, one dependent variable, and one moderating variable. So while carrying out the test practically, you need to go to analyze, then regression, then process. Here you are supposed to define the model number that you are using in your research. In PDF, as you can see, the X is independent, Y is dependent, and M is moderating variable. So in this case, you need to put your variable accordingly in X, Y, and M. I'm not going in detail because we are falling short of the time. We run the test and get the result. As we have add-on in the SPSS, it will take bit time to calculate. This is the result. Sorry, it failed to run. We'll take it some other time. Now, how to report the moderation, that you need to understand. Similarly, as we have done in the mediation effect, we are supposed to report the beta value. This is the interaction effect. The beta value, the t value, and p value. As you can see, the interaction effect is significant. Hence, we can say that there exists the significant moderation of employees' innovative behavior in the relationship between KS, knowledge sharing, and OE. This graph got developed. We have certain software through which this moderation graph can be drawn with. We have certain software that also I would share along with the PPT. You need to calculate the value using software, then put the value in the Excel sheet I would share, and automatically this moderation graph will be created. And this is how we report the moderation effect of variable. This is all from my side. Now the queries are welcome if you have any.
Okay, sir, you have videos for demo on, demo for running all these things in SPSS, sir. When it's now
I have videos. I have very clearly written it in my PPT. If you follow the instructions given in the PPT, you can easily calculate the statistics for mediation as well as moderation. Even if you get the problem, I would be definitely there to help you out. I would be sharing my email ID and mobile number. That's all from my side, madam.
Rajina ma'am.
Yes, sir. Hope all participants had a very interesting session today. Yeah.
Just one question. Since SPSS, though it's very useful, but it cannot really downloadable. So, is there any other software which you can suggest for doing these kind of statistical analysis?
Yes, you can do it in our studio also, but for that you need to have the idea of running our studio. It is freely available.
Rajesh sir, tomorrow the session is on the R studio.
Yes. In your R studio session, you may ask how to run mediation and moderation analysis in R studio. It is free software.
Okay.
This is on views.
E-views you cannot use. E-views is for different purpose.
Use PSPP.
See, widely used softwares are Smart PLS nowadays because it has certain advantages over MOS. Otherwise, before this PLS, Smart PLS, we used to carry out this mediation and moderation using either Haze plugin in SPSS or the MOS. Rest, there are number of softwares which are available, but the reliability of those softwares are very less. So some publisher do not accept the analysis when you are carrying out those analysis on other than these softwares. In good generalization.
Participants, kindly keep your mic on mute.
Sir.
Sir, I have a request. If you can please share.
Please wind up now.
Yes.
Excuse me, sir.
Sir,
I have one request.
Last
if you can
question,
please share the.
Anybody has to ask?
Yes, ma'am. I have one request. If you can please share the that research paper also with us, so that we can study that research paper and how you have reported all the facts. So it will be great, sir.
Manish sir, I will share all the literature, all the recording, all the PPT by end of the FDP, because some people are not joining the FDP. So I have decided to share only those people who are joining the FDP. So after the FDP, I will share everything. But between the FDP,
sir, I'm asking about. Not an issue, sir. I am asking about the research papers which sir was referring to.
Everything, sir, everything.
Yes. Otherwise, there is another way out. You can search my name on Scopus database. I am Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay. You can easily get the paper. I have also uploaded my all papers. Rajesh Kumar Upadhyay.
The title of the paper.
RK. You check the name. You'll get the number of research papers on mediation and moderation.
Okay, thank you.
So many papers are there. If you are not comfortable with that, you can search my ResearchGate page. All the paper I have uploaded, you can download the papers free of cost. If it is not, yes.
Sir, actually in National Psychological Corporation Agra and Psychotronics Bangalore and Prasad Psycho, they are having lot of psychological assessment tools in which we are using for our PG research as well as PhD research. So what we are doing, we are not again, I mean checking reliability and validity. Directly we are using the tool for the present sample in particular place. So what you will suggest, sir? We need to do reliability, validity again for the standardized tools?
Priya madam, if you are not checking the reliability and validity of the skills that you have used in the research paper, your paper would not be accepted in good journals. That is for sure. Because that is the mandatory condition that each and every paper should satisfy.
Even standardized tools which are available to recheck our reliability for where we are doing.
Yes, yes, definitely.
Yes, sir.
Definitely.
Thank you.
In 99.99% psychological research, standard scales are used for the study, and in every good research paper, you will find that the reliability and validity of those scales has been rechecked. Without rechecking the reliability and validity, no paper will be accepted in good research journal.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Yeah. Rajesh, sir?
Yes.
Hope our participants' questions are. Hope the participants are happy with your answering the questions. From on behalf of School of Economics and Commerce, CMR University, I thank you, sir, for being part of our session today and giving an opportunity for again the participants to understand how moderation, mediation, analysis will help in their research. And on this occasion, I will propose my vote of thanks. I would like